told you we was giving you the okay back today to make a way. He gonna die today.
So kind of, well, explain to us. We're just learning all this for the first time. Kind of who is behind Seasoned and kind of where you came from.
Okay. First and foremost, I go by Chop Balboa. A lot of streets know me from Chop. Ray from Rosewood. I'm from Hugo, Oklahoma, which is southeast Oklahoma. You know, and of course I came to OKC at about 2005, you know what I mean? And I got my hands involved into the music. That's what a lot of people know me from, you know, is the music and just being in the street, always, you know, moving and grooving pretty much. So the Seasoned thing actually didn't come apart until about 3 years ago. We started the brand October 27th, which is 2017. You know what I mean? I had laid off from doing music, and I still was doing some consulting with artists and stuff like that, but if you know anything about this culture, man, you always want to like be involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I mean? And I had always handled merch for being an artist. So I was hands-on, being independent. So that's what taught me like the screen print process and finding clothing vendors and like selling the merch. So I always kind of knew that portion of it. But when I started the brand, I just did my homework, man. I just found a lane in streetwear that wasn't really being fulfilled. You know what I mean? Everything had really got real slim, and everything was catered really towards a younger audience. So I wanted to put a flip to it, and as far as the colors and the concepts, make it more mature. You know what I mean? Make it more mature fit, but at the same time, make it dope. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we all love this hip hop culture. People think like it's a cutoff line, like on being cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you can only be cool until you 30. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we start pushing that line and start making what we call like conversational pieces with the apparel. You know what I mean? So you might come in here and see, you know, Slick Rick the Ruler, you know what I mean, or somebody from that cloth. Now the young generation come and see it and be like, that's dope. You got the drip, right? You know, people like me gonna be like, nah, that's the Ruler. But the dope side of it is it forces that conversation. It bridges that gap between the young bulls and us. You know what I mean? And it's artistic. It's a way of expressing yourself. You know what I mean? And I just love it, bro. The first tee that I actually did was this one, the Seasoned OG tee. You know, I didn't even have a name of the company then. I just wanted to get back in and like start providing like dope merch for the people who still rapping and moving around. You know what I mean? And it just kind of like started rolling. People just, the Seasoned clothing, that's hard, it's hard. I just kind of stuck with it, you know what I mean? And the term itself is being used throughout hip hop. I didn't create the term, of course, but I want to say like in this culture, everybody want to be full of flavor. You know what I mean? So it represents me and people like me. And if you really want to be technical, you got to be seasoned before you get to the sauce. You feel what I'm saying? It don't even matter how much sauce you got if it ain't seasoned. That's real life. You feel what I'm saying? So it was a way for me to get back in and be artistic. Me being an artist, I just changed the canvas from the music to the apparel, bro.
So you kind of talked about it already. I just want you to like maybe elaborate on it a little more as far as, you know, you do a lot of like classic stuff with like OG hip hop. So,
yeah.
But a lot of people buying your clothes are younger and may not be as familiar with.
Right.
I mean, we just talked about it. I'm
right.
98, so it's kind of so talk about bridging that gap a little bit.
The fact that you were born in 98 and you think as though, let me know that I'm doing everything that I set out to do and force the conversation. Not in on some big homie, like you need to know, but and fun, you know what I mean? And push the culture forward with it. Because I feel like we only gonna get so far if the youngsters don't know where they derive from, where it come from. But being an OG, you gotta do it with respect. You know what I'm saying? So I respect the young bulls, and that's why they come in and give it the same way. You know what I mean? From the artists, from the producers, to just the movers and shakers here in OKC, they roll out the respect because I give it. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep moving forward with it.
Okay, so talk about what that's looking like as far as moving forward. Like what?
It's beautiful. Right now, it's beautiful because it ain't never been this way. You know what I mean? We got so many young black entrepreneurs, and the culture is stronger than ever. We supporting each other. We got Tulsa on board. We got the 580 boys on board, and we all moving forward, just kind of keeping the money in one circle. You know what I mean? And kind of using the bar. If I got a service I offer, you got a service you offer. You know what I mean? Let's just work together and just get it to the people. Being independent right now is like beautiful, especially during the pandemic, because if you haven't noticed, everybody's kind of going back to the surface of it, going back to the independent people. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just fortunate enough to have arrived before the pandemic got crazy. You know what I mean?
So you kind of talked about it's better than it's been. Touch on how just kind of the growth you've seen as far as like the scene, like the music lane in Oklahoma.
It's definitely growing. You know, with the internet, the exposure, of course, is 10 times more than what it used to be. You know what I mean? But the difference in now and then, like now you gotta work a little harder, you know what I mean, to get to the bag with the streaming and all of that's going on. Because, you know, back then, yeah, we worked hard, but we had the physical distribution, we had other things going on to generate revenue through it. Now it ain't a whole lot of that. You just gotta, you know, be consistent with your people and like fulfill when the demand is there. Now, the people who are successful, the youngsters, they hustlers. They came in with the mentality like I'm gonna win. Now you got some people kind of just in the way trying to figure it out. No knock to them, you know what I mean? I pray they figure it out. But you got some people out here as far as in the music scene that's figuring it out, that's moving. And I like a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like a lot of people think it's a lot easier in the internet era, which it is to get exposure and stuff, but it's also harder to
stand out,
to monetize that.
Yeah, it's a little, it's more ways to monetize, to be totally honest. But you got to go in and treat it like a business. You know what I mean? You have to treat it like a real business. A lot of people just want to be famous though. You know, they want to be famous and then worry about how they gonna get paid later. I'm sorry, I come from a different game. You know what I mean? Like, I was independent then, but I survived and took care of not only my team, my family, off of music. You know, so I know you can do it. You know what I mean? Even when everything went digital, I did the same thing. You just gotta treat it like a business. And like for instance, I see a lot of artists just focus on streams. Like I've seen a check for 1 million streams. That ain't a lot of money. Let's be honest with ourselves. That ain't a lot of money. So you gotta treat it like a business. Find other ways to trying to build off your liveliness. Like if you're an artist right now and you ain't got no merch, you're killing yourself. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like it's something you have to have. You know what I mean? It adds up at the end of the day. Turn that cool off and treat this shit like a business. You know what I mean?
So let's get into I kind of want to talk about the design process as far as like who's coming up with this. Is it all you or are you?
Listen, everything you see in here, I pretty much came up with the concept. If I didn't design it myself hands-on, I drove the Chevy to get there. You feel what I'm saying? So we got a team that we work with as far as who actually drives and do a lot of the design process. But every idea, every concept, everything you see in Seasoned Clothing has rolled off something that was influenced by Chop or something that influenced me. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, so where are you getting your inspirations from?
Life. That's easy because as long as we live in, I can come up with a concept. You know what I mean? I would like to stay focused on the culture as far as this hip hop shit. And shit, hip hop has been around how many years? If you can't derive influence off of that, I come from the era where, you know, Fubu, Carl Kanai, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are some of the dopest people, and they still around. You know what I mean? So I didn't just reinvent the wheel, you know what I'm saying? I just watched and seen what everybody else was doing and put my twist to it as far as the streetwear. You know what I mean?